Good morning and welcome. This is the Clint Womack Real Estate and Finance Show on 860 AM, Utah's Big Talker. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you missed our show last week, go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Womack Radio, or also to our radio website. That's womackradio.com. Last week we had Dr. Harline, a physician, that talked about overall wellness. And we also had John Hatch, a local financial planner, that talked about financial wellness and 3 pillars of strength and stability. This is our new time. We're on every Saturday and Sunday morning at 10 a.m. right here on 860 AM, Utah's Big Talker. We've got a great show planned for you today. Our first guest is Chris Walker with Alphagraphics. He's a local business owner and a marketing expert. Chris, it's great to have you on the show today.
Thank you, Clint.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I grew up in the Pacific Northwest. I came to Utah 35 years ago and enjoyed skiing so much that we decided to stay.
What state were you from before?
I grew up in the Pacific Northwest in Oregon.
In Oregon, okay. So the snow kept you here.
Not that great a snow in any Pacific Northwest state.
Yeah, and cold water, too.
The coast is very cold.
Well, great to have you with us. Tell me a little bit about Alphagraphics.
Well, I started my own Alphagraphics franchise 7 years ago after spending over 20 years in corporate America. So I really consider myself a corporate refugee and the owner of a local small business. So it's been a great education working with 300 to 400 other small businesses in our community.
So as Alphagraphics, it has the word graphics in there, so I'm assuming you do some graphics and marketing. What are some of the popular requests that you get at Alphagraphics?
We certainly do a lot of graphic creation and graphic related work. We're also a marketing company, and we help companies build their brand and help them look good to whoever their audience is. So, for example, people that order print from us, they really rely on us to get it there on time for them. So we make our end users look good to their audience, probably their boss, so they can have their materials on time when they need them. We do a lot of student type work, so a lot of training materials. And then we make sure that if they don't have their training materials to the class on time, the materials are of little or no good. So it's a very much a deadline oriented business that we operate.
It's a little bit of stress every now and then.
You just gotta like that. You gotta revel in the deadline. If you don't, it can really bring you to your knees.
Eats you up. Yeah, I'm in the mortgage and real estate business, and we're all about deadlines as well. You got lock deadlines, closing deadlines, and I know how important deadlines are. So you do print. Do you do any sort of online marketing or anything like that?
We do search engine marketing and search engine optimization mostly for ourselves. We've helped a few clients with that in the past. We've created a few websites. That's really not our specific forte. I'm one of 10 local Alphagraphics franchises here in Salt Lake City. So everyone else also has a niche that they are filling in, and several of the other franchisees specialize in those type of marketing materials and marketing support mechanisms. We really emphasize on signage and large format graphics and billboards, things that you would normally see on a billboard. We don't print billboards. There's only 5 companies in the United States that print billboard materials, but we really print a lot of banners and posters and temporary signage, things that you'd see on the roadside, directional type signage, campaign signage, and things like that. So, and it's all about the turnaround time because we can get it faster. We can get it done faster than anybody else in town.
I saw an Alphagraphic sign on I-15. Does that happen to be yours?
That is actually for our marketing co-op. That everyone collaborated on those specific signs for this year. And so there's 12 or 13 of those all along the Wasatch Front, and we each contribute to that. through Reagan Advertising, and they helped us put together that campaign for us.
So you guys all pooled your funds together, and then you all kind of benefit from doing that?
Exactly. So you may have noticed that it wasn't location specific on the signage, but it really
just said Alphagraphics.
It just said Alphagraphics, and on that type of advertising, that's all anybody's going to remember. They might remember who it is, what it is, and maybe what's in it for them, and that's kind of the messaging that we'd like to get across with any marketing campaign.
So you said there's 10 Alphagraphics in the Salt Lake Valley?
Yeah, from Ogden to Provo.
Is each one independently owned, or do some people own a couple of them?
There's a couple of franchisees that own more than one location. There's two gentlemen that each own two.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen. Is Alphagraphics across the United States?
Yes, there's 250 locations all across the country. There's also Alphagraphics franchises in Brazil and the United Kingdom.
If you're a local business owner, and small or big, Chris Walker can definitely help you with signage, with print, with advertising. If you'd like to get in touch with Chris Walker, please call us at 801-674-9995, and we can get you in touch with Chris Walker to help you with your advertising and marketing. He's a guru. He's been doing this for a long time. You can also text the word advertising to 801-674-9995. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Chris Walker and dig a little bit more into Alphagraphics and marketing and some other suggestions that he has for us. Stay with us, and we will be back after the break. This is the Clint Womack Real Estate and Finance Show on 860 AM, Utah's Big Talker. Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Clint Womack Real Estate and Finance Show on 860 AM. We're going to repeat it here, but we have a new time. It's 10 a.m. every Saturday and Sunday morning here on 860 AM. Before I forget, I'd like to give a special thanks to Corey Hooker for running the boards and doing such a great job for our show. We've got Chris Walker here with us with Alphagraphics. It's a local marketing business, all types of graphics and advertising. Chris, we were talking a little bit about the importance of advertising in any business. What advice do you have for a potential client?
Well, the most important thing for any business to understand is who their audience is and how you want to communicate with them effectively. And so we really call that commanding your brand. You've got to have command of your brand, and it's got to speak to your audience in a relevant manner. So it's super important that your materials look the same, they feel the same, they are portraying the same message. And it's really important that it's the message that you want to convey, and that you're reaching your audience in the most positive manner possible. So it's a fun and exciting business because we work with different businesses every day, and every day is a little bit different. So no 2 days are the same. That was actually one of my biggest fears in owning my own small business, was that I was going to come to the same place every day because I traveled so much over the years. But it's anything but that. It's anything but boring.
Lots of variety.
That's for sure. So it's for any small business, just know and understand your audience, command your brand, and make your brand look relevant and speak the right message to your customers.
Now, do you ever do like consulting? Have a small business owner come in that might not know the direction, or they have kind of a vague idea? Do you sit down and kind of give them ideas and help them pattern their logos and things like that?
Certainly. We'll really talk about a lot of things. And, the most important is, where they've been, because history is a great foreteller of the future. And if they understand where they've been in the past and what they've accomplished, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So we really look at what's happened in the past, what's worked for them, because some things are of value. And then we want to change up that message and help them do things differently and be more relevant to their clientele.
So you not only do the print work, but you also do graphic design and trying to tailor it to the company as well?
We certainly do. We have an in-house graphic artist that has great training and knowledge and expertise about multiple different ways to lay out graphic arts. We also have a variety of people that we can reach out to if there's something specialized that we might not be able to fulfill in-house. So we have a lot of different resources that we can bring to bear in a variety of ways, from just basic logo design clear up to web pages. We have a resource for that, and as well as even video production. And we've done some incredible videos for a number of our clients over the past years. And really, YouTube videos are a great way to communicate your brand and your message, and it's super economical.
Have you heard of it's an email marketing system called BombBomb?
I have not heard of that.
BombBomb basically takes a YouTube video and it embeds it in the email so that a client can play the email or play the video within the email. So it's like a video messaging email system. I think that's starting to get pretty big is the idea of video. I think just because it maybe sticks with it and maybe stands out a little more than a normal email. So yeah, video is a great thing.
Yeah, I would agree. Video is certainly an opportunity. And there's a lot of emerging technologies in our marketplace, just as you described, that we may not be aware of that somebody wants to bring to bear. We can always help with that process because there's a lot of ancillary products and services that really work with the core root of our business, which, in all reality is print services. And so we're very proud of that. That's a solid foundation for us. It keeps us going every single day. And a lot of these other projects are a lot of fun to bring in and help people with along the way.
Do you guys do direct mail too?
We certainly do. We do direct mail. We love the post office. We go there almost every day.
Hopefully they're not bankrupt within the next few years.
No, the post office, I think, will be fine.
Okay, good.
And but it's when you figure out how to do variable data printing and direct mail appropriately, there's some incredible programs that the post office has helped us with. And one is everyday direct mail. We have a number of clients. One of them is a real estate company that targets their specific audience in neighborhoods where they have homes for sale.
Farming.
And we do everyday direct mail. It's very economical. The postage is 15 or 16 cents for each postcards, and they're big, oversized postcards. So it really makes it easy for us to go to the post office. We print the cards, we drop them off, we have them bundled for the carrier, and away they go.
Well, we need to set up a meeting. It's a video, direct mail, signage. You do it all. No matter what type of business you're in, you need advertising, whether you're a physician, whether you're an attorney, whether you're a mechanic. No matter what business you're in, you need advertising to grow your business and keep that steady flow of customer base coming in. This is Chris Walker with Alphagraphics, and this is the Clint Womack Real Estate and Finance Show on 860 AM. If you'd like to get in touch with Chris, please give us a call anytime at 801-674-9995. We can get you in touch with Chris and set up a consult, whether it's logo design or direct mail or video marketing. Any of these things are powerful and can help you grow your business. So, Chris, what changes do you see coming, or are there any laws or regulations that you see that will be affecting your business? For small business, there's always something changing and flowing. You've got to be kind of not definitely on the bleeding edge of technology, whether it's production related or with the confines that we work within our banking and the government regulations. The most prominent one we have right now that I'm actually really pleased that we're able to offer to our employees is comprehensive health care. And so we all know about the changes in healthcare that went on over a year ago. That still is ongoing for many other small businesses as they try to get a handle on that and figure that out. When I started my franchise 7 years ago, that was the first thing I did for my employees is I brought in healthcare benefits. And that was because the previous owner of the small business that I acquired did not offer that.
And that was the first thing everybody wanted to know if I was going to be able to give them was health insurance benefits. And right now we're working on a 401k program for employees so they can start to work towards their retirement.
Good for you. Looking out for your employees. I know that's tough. As a business owner, you're always looking for ways to manage cost and to be able to look out for your employees and offer a health insurance plan and looking into a 401k plan. That's great.
That's what's so exciting about being a small business owner is there's many other small business owners in the same position that we are, and we can all help each other. So I've partnered with a number of different companies from our payroll group to our benefits group to someone to provide 401k services for us. So each of those have needs that we can offer them, and they're helping us in return.
Yeah, a little exchange of business sometimes is always good too. Do you happen to have the names of the different providers that you use for payroll or for benefits? Do you happen to remember some of those names?
Yeah, absolutely. Our payroll company is National Payroll Systems. We just did a vinyl sign for them, and we put it on there. They had got a brand new window in their office, and they needed some new vinyl signage. So we did a really nice cut vinyl logo in multiple colors for them. And I just completed our payroll today for this week. So that was what I was working on all morning was finishing up payroll. We installed their vinyl sign last week.
Okay.
Spectra Benefits helps us with our benefits, and they've been with us for a number of years. We work with Jeff there, and they really helped us get out on the forefront of the changes that were happening to small businesses that related to our health care benefits for our employees. So we got out in front of a lot of the changes at the end of last year, and were able to lock in some more competitive rates before things really took a change the beginning of this year.
I'm a huge proponent of brokering and helping and building a team of professionals around you. And that's what this show is all about. We have different guests from a lot of different professions to be an expert panel and an expert team here for you. We bring in attorneys, we bring in financial planners and expert marketers like Chris Walker. And like you were saying, you don't want to do it all on your own as a small business owner. You bring in someone that specializes in benefits so that they can help you, and they know that profession, and they can help you stay in front of some of the changes that are coming up. And you bring in a payroll company and some of these other companies that can help you focus on your business so that you're not spending time doing some of these things that other people specialize in. I'm a huge proponent of that. That's what this show is all about, is helping you build up a team of professionals that can help you in no matter what circumstance comes your way, whether it's legal, marketing, or any other thing that comes up in business or just in personal life. Do you have any memorable transactions or success stories that you've had in your business?
We, of course, we do over 400 transactions a month. So it really has to be memorable if you're going to think back on that.
Yeah.
Because so 400 a month, that's 5,000 a year. And so it keeps us super busy. Most recently we did a banner for another Alphagraphics that went on a building up in Woods Cross, and that turned out really great. It was a 40-foot banner, and so it was pretty exciting to drive by that building and see our 40-foot banner up displaying a new company's business.
Just to talk a little logistics, what kind of material is a 40-foot banner made out of?
Well, we standardize on just one vinyl banner material. It's called 13-ounce scrim outdoor vinyl, and it's coated. It's got a gloss finish, so it's coated on one side. Because we buy so much of it, it becomes very economical for us. And so we have a large printer that can print 8 feet tall by 200 feet long if you wanted to. We did a banner like that for Murray High School, and they put it on the chain link fence outside the football field.
Wow.
So we've done a lot of amazing projects. One of the most other memorable ones is we did 500,000 flyers for the Castle of Chaos last fall.
Oh, is that downtown Salt Lake?
Actually, the Castle of Chaos was on 33rd South and West Temple, they closed that facility, and they're out on 5600 South and Redwood Road. But James is a tremendous business partner. We've done a lot of different materials for him as he promotes. He promotes his annual fall business.
Is he one of the owners of Castle of Chaos?
James is one of the owners of Castle of Chaos that I work with.
500,000 flyers.
Yeah, 500,000. So I loaded them up, in our trailer, and it was no small feat just getting them out there to the castle so they could distribute them.
Yeah, that probably weighed a few pounds.
That did. We delivered a number of banners. I think they partnered with Sonic drive-ins that fall, and so we delivered thousands of flyers to each Sonic, and every Maverick had them as well. So it's really interesting, Clint, to see how small our business community is, because as we get to know people and people get acquainted with us, they'll go from one company to the next company to the next company, and they'll take us with them in many instances. So that's always an exciting opportunity for us when we know we've done a good job of building that relationship, and we come along with a person to give them that skill and expertise in a new position they found with another company.
Do you ever get any thank you emails or thank you calls from some of your advertising that's worked well for any of your clients?
Absolutely. We certainly do. MacArthur Homes is one of our biggest clients, and we do a lot of work for Ron and Dave out in South Jordan. We do a lot of directional signage for them, and they're always quick to point out when you do something well and when you have an opportunity to do a little better. So, we love our customers. We think they are a tremendous asset to us as we try to be a tremendous asset to them.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting to know you a little better. You're printing actually a few signs for us right now, and I'd like to maybe do some video marketing and some of the other things that you guys do. We've been talking with Chris Walker with a local Alphagraphics franchisee here in Salt Lake City. It's been so great to have you on the show. Thanks again for joining us.
You're sure welcome, Clint. Thanks for having me.
Again, this is the Clint Womack Real Estate and Finance Show. If you have any questions for Chris Walker or you'd like to get in touch with him, text the word marketing to 801-674-9995, and we'll get you in touch with Chris. We've got to take a break, but stay with us, and we'll be back. This is the Clint Womack Real Estate and Finance Show on 860 AM, Utah's Big Talker. Welcome back. This is the Clint Womack Real Estate and Finance Show on 860 AM every Saturday and Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Please join us every week. Our next guest on the show today is Will Morrison, who is a local bankruptcy attorney. Will, it's great to have you on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me on.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
You bet. So I'm pretty much a Utah native. I grew up here. Was born and raised in Utah. Graduated from Park City High School in 1988. After that, went on to the University of Utah for my undergrad and also law school. Been in practice as a bankruptcy attorney since 1996. And I enjoy living here in Utah. Have a wife with 3 children. We love it here. I've actually picked up a new sport called pickleball, which I love to play.
What? Tell them, what's pickleball?
It's kind of a mix between, the best way to describe it, I think, is a mix between tennis and ping pong. You play on a tennis style size of court with paddles and a wiffle ball, basically.
Who invented that one? Was that a local invention, or has that been around for a while?
It's been around, actually. I think it goes back to the 1970s, believe it or not. And the way that it got its name, apparently some people invented it in their backyard, and they had a dog named Pickles that would always steal the ball and run off with it. It's actually now part of the Utah Summer Games.
Oh, really?
It is.
Wow. So can the ball bounce, or do you have to keep it in the air the whole time?
It bounces. You have to adjust to it. It doesn't have a tennis kind of bounce, but it does bounce.
Keeps you on your toes.
It does.
Well, we love having local people on the show. It's great to have a Utah native. Do you still have family out in Park City, or is most family here in Salt Lake?
My parents live in Park City still.
Okay. So you get out to visit them every now and then, hopefully?
I do, on occasion. Yep.
Well, tell me about your practice. Do you have your own practice, or do you work for a firm?
Yeah, I have my own firm. It's Morrison Law Office, located downtown on 9th South and 352 East.
Okay.
We have a receptionist up front, and also we're starting just today a summer intern, and I also have a paralegal assistant.
Great.
A small office. We focus primarily on bankruptcy law. I also do some litigation involving personal injury.
Now, for the bankruptcy, we have a lot of listeners that are interested in bankruptcy. Do you focus more on business bankruptcy, or do you do more personal, like Chapter 7, Chapter 13 type of bankruptcy?
Yeah, the focus of my practice is primarily representing individuals that need help with debts. And I guess the vast majority of my clients are just individuals, usually single or husband and wife cases that we do under Chapter 7 and Chapter 13.
Is there one that you recommend over the other, or is it just kind of case by case?
Really depends on the facts and circumstances involved. You have to analyze it and screen the case as if it was a unique case. There's some eligibility standards that need to be met for Chapter 7. Typically, if an individual can qualify for Chapter 7, that's generally their best bet. Chapter 13 is a repayment program. Just takes a lot longer to emerge from, and the success rate, quite frankly, isn't that great.
What are some of the things that can fail in a Chapter 13?
The largest thing that happens to throw the case out of whack and cause it to fail, unfortunately, is a loss of employment. You have to have steady, reliable income to fund that, and you have to avoid some major expenses that just tend to crop up on most people when they're involved in that type of a program. So a major car repair, for example, is going to throw the case budget out of whack and cause people some difficulty continuing in the case.
Yeah, we've talked about bankruptcy on previous shows, and I didn't know, but some people file bankruptcy twice a year or once a year. And I don't know if it's just because they have a bad budget or different things that come up, but it sounds like some people need a little direction as far as finances go.
It's amazing to see it. There are serial filers, the people that file more than once. For most people, the hope is that this is just a one-time through. They complete it, they're done, and never look back. But those cases where you see them filing more than once, that's generally a Chapter 13 case that have failed, and then they're going right back into it, starting over again.
On a Chapter 13, you set up a payment plan. Does the creditor usually lose some money on those payment plans? Like, do they usually agree to a lesser sum than the original debt?
Creditors are not in the driver's seat in a Chapter 13 case. In most cases, they don't get paid in full. There are some cases where debtors are able to do a 100% repayment program and pay everybody in full, and their creditors don't take a loss. That's the rare occasion, unfortunately. In the majority of the cases, there is usually a return of pennies on the dollar.
Who decides what kind of losses and what the payment? Is that both the attorney and the trustee that are making those decisions?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's some involvement from the debtor's attorney, also the trustee that supervises the case, and then ultimately the bankruptcy court is the one that makes the decision on how much has to be repaid to creditors. There's a lot of factors that go into play in determining what has to be repaid, what percentage of the debt, if it's something less than 100%. The income, the budget, those are real important factors to the court.
Is there a judge in a bankruptcy case?
There is. In Chapter 7, the debtors generally don't meet the judge, and in the majority of those type of cases, actually the debtor probably will never see the judge. The trustee is the one that is a representative of the bankruptcy court that conducts the bankruptcy hearing. In Chapter 13 cases, the judge supervises that process and ultimately confirms the repayment plan and approves it or dismisses the case if it's not something that meets the conditions and requirements of the bankruptcy code.
I've never been to a bankruptcy case. Does it usually happen in a courtroom, or is it more in someone's office?
In Chapter 7 bankruptcy, it's conducted less formal than a court, but the debtors are still placed under oath and are expected to testify truthfully. They actually have a hearing room located downtown, kitty corner from the bankruptcy court. And interestingly enough, it's in the Ken Garf building. They actually have it in a hearing room on the second floor.
Oh, really?
It's not in bankruptcy court.
So it's across the street, and that's where a lot of bankruptcies are handled?
That's right, yep.
Interesting.
In Chapter 13, you also have a trustee hearing, which is called a meeting of creditors. And then the second hearing in a Chapter 13 case is where you actually go meet the judge in the courtroom.
Bankruptcy is extremely complicated. There's a lot of issues that can lead to bankruptcy, and that's why you need a professional that can help you. Will Morrison has been practicing law and doing bankruptcies for several years, and and I trust him, and I know that he can help you navigate the different questions and concerns that come up. We also have a free ebook for anyone that's considering bankruptcy or going through bankruptcy or has completed a bankruptcy. It's called From Bankruptcy to Prosperity, and it's a free ebook that we have for you. If you'd like a copy, please text the letters BK to 801-674-9995, and we can email you a copy of that free ebook. You can also call us anytime at 801-674-9995, and we can get you in touch with Will Morrison, who can answer some more specific questions about bankruptcy or give you some counsel and advice and help point you in the right direction. Will, what's some advice that you have for someone that might be considering bankruptcy?
Definitely to meet with an attorney. There are people that file pro se bankruptcies. Those are really challenging cases to do on your own. Bankruptcy is such a specialized field of law. You really need an expert to help you navigate those waters. For most people, again, this is an unfamiliar case that they're undertaking. So it definitely helps to meet with a skilled, experienced bankruptcy attorney to find out what they're getting themselves into.
And do bankruptcy laws differ from state to state?
They do. It's kind of interesting how it's set up. Bankruptcy is federal law, so our bankruptcy code is drafted by Congress. However, you actually look to state law to determine what property you can keep in a bankruptcy.
So you got federal and state laws to worry about.
That's correct.
Okay, so federal laws maybe more of the general rules, and then the states kind of down to more of the specifics?
Yeah, that's true, I think, in a large respect.
Okay. And do you have any memorable cases recently or over your practice that stick out in your mind?
Yeah, I've had maybe two I'd like to talk about. One is it happened a couple of years ago. I was representing an individual that was a senior citizen. She's in her 70s and was really struggling with a lot of debt with low income. I think her income was primarily from a retirement. And she was struggling, and it's difficult for people that are faced with bankruptcy and faced with a mountain of debt on their shoulders. What stood out to me is she was so appreciative of being able to get a fresh start financially and have that case go through smoothly for her. More so than my average client, I guess. She actually brought in a nice gift to my office, a box of chocolates, and that was really touching to me. The other case I'll just mention just briefly, it's a case that dragged on and on and on. It was an individual suing his wife for a variety of things, and he was, in my opinion, abusing the court system. It got so bad that he was chasing her in different courts, and all of the judges eventually caught on to what was happening. We ended up getting a good judgment against him in the case. He ended up leaving the state of Utah over it with a bench warrant and a contempt judgment against him.
You were representing the wife?
We were. Not only did we have him flee the state, he actually left the United States. So that was memorable.
Put him in his place, I guess.
We did.
Well, this is the Clint Womack Real Estate and Finance Show. We've got to take a break. After the break, we'll continue our conversation with Will Morrison. Thank you so much for tuning in, and stay with us. We'll be right back on 860 AM, Utah's Big Talker. Welcome back to the Clint Womack Real Estate and Finance Show on 860 AM, Utah's Big Talker. We've got Will Morrison here, a local bankruptcy attorney, a local Utah man, and very familiar with Utah Bankruptcy Code and how to navigate those waters of bankruptcy. Again, we have a free ebook. If you'd like a copy of that ebook, it's called From Bankruptcy to Prosperity. We'd love to email you a copy and give you a little bit of encouragement if you're considering bankruptcy or going through bankruptcy. Text the words free book to 801-674-9995, and we'll email you over a copy of From Bankruptcy to Prosperity. We've got Will Morrison here with us. Will, I wanted to go a little bit into maybe the general prices of filing a Chapter 7 versus a Chapter 13, and if those prices differ, things like that.
Sure, that's a great question. Chapter 13 is somewhat set in stone. The only thing that really differs, I think, amongst bankruptcy attorneys is how much to charge up front. Chapter 13 is a repayment bankruptcy, and you're actually able to pay a lot of your legal fees and court administrative fees during the course of that repayment program.
So it kind of gets rolled into the payment plan.
It does. That's right. The court filing fee on a Chapter 13 is $281. That's going up June 1st by $29. So if you want to save a little bit of money, it would be good to file before June 1st.
Does that vary by county, or is that statewide, those prices?
It's statewide.
Okay.
That's right. Chapter 7 cases, you'll see probably a big discrepancy, a variety in attorney fees on those cases. The court filing fee is $306. That's also going up by $29 June 1st. The newer attorneys charge a lot less. I think they're trying to get into the market, generate some business. Mm-hmm. I think the average rate maybe anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 for legal fees, attorney fees, plus the court filing fee.
Is that usually paid in installments or paid up front? How do most attorneys work that?
Typically, it's paid up front. Some offices do offer payment plans, and we have some available.
Okay. And do you know of any changes coming up, big changes for Utah bankruptcy?
The only big change is the increase in the filing fees that I mentioned. June 1st, everything seems to go up by $29. I think that's the biggest change. A couple years ago, we saw some changes in our exemption laws, and we've been operating on exemption laws in Utah for the past decade that haven't changed. But finally, there was a movement underway with our state legislature to increase those exemptions to allow people to protect a little bit more property in bankruptcy. So that was changed a couple years ago. We're still getting used to the changes. That's helped people protect a little bit more equity in their house, for example.
Is that like a homestead exemption?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
The homestead exemption in bankruptcy used to be $20,000 before the change, and now it's $30,000 for an individual. If the property is owned by a husband and wife and is located in Utah as your primary personal residence, a husband and wife each has their own $30,000 homestead exemption.
Okay. You would think they would raise those up a little bit more. I think they're a little more generous in other states.
They are, absolutely. Some states like Florida and Texas are very generous in their homestead exemptions. Mm-hmm. Utah's pretty conservative there.
Okay. And just kind of general numbers, do you happen to know a rough idea of how many people file in Utah per year for a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13, just kind of rough general numbers?
I don't have good recent data to go off of. I know that the numbers are unfortunately on the rise again. Mm-hmm. We are seeing an increase in filings.
I know job loss, medical, but there's a variety of reasons. Are there some reasons that happen more than others that lead to bankruptcy in your experience?
I think probably the number one reason people are filing for bankruptcy is medical expense. The cost of medical care is just very high. And a lot of people, unfortunately, are not insured. It's something that they have trouble with paying when they go to the ER, get a large bill from that.
$20,000 for an ER visit?
Yeah, and they're struggling to pay that. So medical has historically been one of the largest factors causing people to file bankruptcy.
Does medical get wiped out in a Chapter 7?
It does. I always have clients approach me and ask me if there's something in Utah called a medical bankruptcy. We don't really have a medical bankruptcy in Utah. When people file bankruptcy here, they're filing on all of their debts. But you can eliminate medical bills in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy or even in a Chapter 13.
If someone had $100,000 in medical bills, would you recommend a Chapter 7 over a Chapter 13?
I think it depends on their income, of course. If they're at the state median income or less, then a Chapter 7 would make a lot of sense, unless they have assets that could not be protected in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy.
Okay. Well, it's been so great to have you on the show, Will. Thanks again for joining us.
You bet. Thanks a lot for having me on.
Again, if you'd like to get in touch with Will Morrison, give us a call anytime at 801-674-9995, and we'll get you in touch with Will, and he can set up an appointment with you to discuss further matters of bankruptcy and whether it's a good idea and which direction to go if you're facing a lot of financial burdens. Again, we have that free ebook as well. It's called From Bankruptcy to Prosperity. If you'd like a copy of that, please text the words free book to 801-674-9995. We have our free lunch giveaway coming up after our open house segment. I'd like to share 3 open houses with you today. The first one is located at 12 West, 1200 South in Kaysville. That home is listed for $155,000 and is open on Saturday, May 17th from 3 to 5 p.m. That home is listed by Coldwell Banker. The next open house we have today is 5213 West, Fort Rose Drive, number 67. That is looks like new construction, and it's managed by FCS Community. That is a new construction by D.R. Horton and is listed for $255,990. That home is open on Saturday, May 17th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. D.R. Horton makes a great home, and it'd be great for you to stop by and check it out. The last open house for today is located in Sandy at 1991 East Oakshire Circle, number 29. That home is located in Sandy in the Hickory Valley Estates. It's listed for $549,000 and is listed by Influence Real Estate. If you have any other questions on those homes, or if you'd like to set up a private showing, please text the words open house or private showing to 801-674-9995. We've got a great free lunch giveaway for you today. It is for Chipotle, and it's a lunch or dinner for 4. Chipotle recently moved into Salt Lake City. They have a location in Sugar House, and Chipotle was open in 1993 and has locations across the country. They have a strong commitment to locally homegrown foods and use only the best ingredients. They have a great respect for animals and the environment, and the food is awesome. They have a great steak burrito, the ones without the tortillas as well, and great food there. They have some location in Sandy and also one in Sugar House on 2100 South and about 10th East. So text the words free lunch to 801-674-9995, and we'll hook you up with that free lunch to Chipotle. So lunch or dinner for 4. Text in and we'll get that over to you. I'd like to close the show today and just talk a little bit more about bankruptcy and just budgeting. We've talked about it in the past, how important it is to budget, and sometimes your budget gets out of whack, your finances get out of whack, or you lose a job, and you're looking at bankruptcy, and it's no fault of your own. And I've done loans and real estate transactions for so many people that have filed both Chapter 7 and Chapter 13 bankruptcies, and you can really rise above that and put yourself in a better position. We can do a loan, a mortgage loan for someone that's been out of a bankruptcy after 2 years. So what I recommend is you meet with a professional, you get your finances in order the best that you can. Maybe you go through a Chapter 7 or Chapter 13 bankruptcy, and that can help clean the slate and get you in a better position. And then after, if you do go through a bankruptcy, just focus little by little on building your credit back up by getting a couple credit cards, paying them in full every month, and reestablishing your credit after a bankruptcy. But we can help you get a loan or get into a home 2 years after a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and even 1 year after a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, if you've been making your payments to the trustee on time for 12 months in a Chapter 13. So it's something that you can rise above, and sometimes it's the best bet. And that's what's beautiful about this country. Donald Trump and several other names that you would recognize have taken advantage of the bankruptcy laws and put them to good use so that they could put themselves in a better position and be able to prosper after a bankruptcy. Again, we've said it before, but we have a free ebook. We'd love to get you a copy of it. It's From Bankruptcy to Prosperity, and we can email you a copy of that. It's 801-674-9995. Give us a call or text the words free book to 801-674-9995, and we'll get you a copy of that book. We're here to help you. We want to help you build a team of professionals, and we want to help you prosper. This is a local Utah show, and we are here for you. We're your advocates for real estate and finance, and we want you to succeed. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let your friends know about the show every Saturday and Sunday morning at 10 a.m. on 860 a.m. Utah's Big Talker. Again, this is the Clint Womack Real Estate and Finance Show. We're so grateful that you've listened today, and we've got a great show planned for you next week as well. We've got a local pest inspector with pest control that can help you control some of the pests that might be crawling around your home. And actually, my dad will be on the show next week, and he's going to talk about home and auto insurance. So we hope that you'll tune in. And thanks again for listening. This is the Clint Womack Real Estate and Finance Show on 860 AM, Utah's Big Talker.